hope you're all doing well. I'm doing a 30-minute session. So I'm going to be sharing psychic wisdom and energy healing with a client. If any of you are interested in exploring a psychic session with me, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. So there aren't any goals. I'm going to relax and we're just going to go as guided by spirit and see what comes up. So here we go. Okay. Okay, so you're kneeling down. It's kind of like this is literally the scene. It's a dark place, and you are building up this energy, and you're preparing yourself for some kind of burst of energy and to become triumphant. And you're kind of kneeling down and you're in this stance like almost like holding a cross necklace and like kissing Jesus or something, like I can do this, I have God on my side, you know. So there's this like theatrical moment of like personal power building up inside yourself in this dark world, and you're about to take off. Okay, it's interesting because there's this concept of, you know, it will be hard, but you have the power inside yourself. You can do it. But what's interesting is it's to look like or feel like it's going to be hard to see if you would attach yourself to that concept, but you got it all going for you. So you have the power in your own feet, in your own stance. And I see you taking off, okay? I don't see anything really in your way except what you believe is there. You need to know that. Okay. Because there's so much theatrical energy, there's truth to this. But I want to bring it down to something practical. Because it's grounded, because it has a raw honesty. Practical has a raw honesty to it, and I like to work with that energy. Because I'm looking up as you in this, it's raining, it's gloomy, the buildings are kind of broken down. It's like you're the only one in this big city of loss. Even the windows are broken out of the buildings, and there's some water in the streets, and the streets are kind of aged with time, even plants growing between the cracks and into these kind of devastated buildings. So it's kind of, you are finding the power and the triumph after all this wreckage, all this history, all of this, right? And you stand alone. There's this sort of energy to it. So looking up, the sun is breaking through these clouds, and there's angels. There's 3 angels up there. And I experience the rain is drying up. So I'm going to have to continue with this theatrical energy because it does come from a place of power. It is, you're kind of pulling it in and working with it. So we'll continue with that. But I also want to see this through the lens of something really humble and practical, because that can be the juice that propels you forward, this sort of theatrical, energetic state of being. But practical is working with an element of truth of our reality, okay? All right, so there's 3 angels, and they each have trumpets, okay? They're not like your classic trumpet. They're more just like a golden horn, and they have 3 different notes. There's only 1 note per trumpet that it could play because it's literally just a brass kind of tube with the horn at the end. And they're different sizes. These angels represent male, female. So they're both male and female. Each one is both male and female. Because they look like women with long hair also look like men with long hair simultaneously. Each one does, okay? And they're up there in the sky with the sun, sort of majestic white sun, as sort of helping to disperse these clouds and the rain drying up. You are standing looking up at the angels, at the sun, at the break in the clouds. Feel a resurrection of your own soul. Feel supported. Okay. This is good. We are lingering in this moment of time. Just lingering in it. So literally nothing is changing. Everything is at a standstill, but it's still alive in the energy. So we're just lingering in it. There's a lot of silence here. There is a dialogue happening inside. It's not translatable to the frequency of our human mind or how we process information as human beings. There's a soul level dialogue. And I see that you look like a track runner and you're fit for the marathon. You have everything you need. You have your strength and your energy. It's just the beginning. But you can see your way all the way through. Like there's nothing going to stand in your way. You're going to see this all the way through. And it's a long run, but it doesn't have to wear you out. It doesn't have to be taxing on your energy. Everything is relaxing, but feeling strong and grounded. There's a beautiful balance between the theatrical and the practical. It's starting to feel more human, but it does feel surreal. It does feel like truth. It hasn't quite come all the way to earth yet, vibrationally, but it is. I'm just honoring time here, not rushing. Okay, I'm entering into the scene and I'm just touching the back side of your heart. And I welcome you to share with me. You just don't want to let go of this. You don't want to let go of it. I say you don't have to. Let's just let a part of yourself remain in this energy because there is quite an abundance to it. There's a development. There's a deep and silent communication. There's a massive download. There's a preparation for you to enter into what could be a new phase, the beginning of the next race, okay? I don't want to talk about, I don't like the word race, but they do show me a track runner and a marathon, and you're at the beginning of a lot of miles. But you're strong and you're ready for the next thing, okay? So they're showing me this. So let's let that part of you just stay there. You needed to see this about yourself. You needed to see this is going on, that you're supported, that there's divine beings here that are supporting you. There's an energy of change, and it's bright. It's very bright. Okay. So I'm just going to take a part of you, and we're just going to hang out together, and you can return to that anytime, because you already are still in that. So you can return to what you are already a part of. But let's explore. Let's explore some more stuff here. You say, this is where the practical comes in, okay? Because beneath the surface of this, there is this, there's a tired you. Kind of exasperated, like, I don't have any air left in my lungs. But yet I am still forced to keep breathing. And somehow this pedestal, the theatrical scene, which is vibrationally true, is wearing you out as well. Maybe there is a lot, like to achieve that. Maybe it's going to take a lot out of you, or it's like trying to meet the expectations of yourself. That's a mind-based thing. There should never, it's like, if we live intuitively, there aren't any expectations. We just follow our heart. There aren't any expectations here except what is the next experience on my path of learning. Yeah, we got to go way down to earth. We got to go way down. Bring it way down. Come on now. Bringing this way down. Because it's not sensible to be vibrationally like this. Is going to drain you as a human being. Still working on bringing this very tired you down. But I might have to pop the bubble, okay? Because you already have everything you need. So let's just pop the bubble of this high vibe space, because it is, it's creating an imbalance between your human self, okay? And it's appropriate to come back to earth here, okay? This isn't particularly easy to do. Okay, it's finally shifting. I got two yous. One you that is more human and worn out. This other you that is ready to win the Olympics, okay? You got like heaven behind you here, okay? So you're like this elite self. Then you have this worn out self. So we have these extremes going on, and we need to bring balance to it. We need to bring it all into balance so that the elite Olympian, right, can hang out with this like really worn out you. They're both important. And the elite Olympian needs to help the worn out you, which is what the elite Olympian is inside as the human being. So maybe you have really big plans, right? But there's a coming down to yourself for a time, because you got to catch up with yourself, with your high vibrational self catching up with all the other aspects, which you could say are low vibration. That is just part of the cycle of life. There's always going to be parts of you that are struggling with this or that, parts of you that are triumphant. So let's come together, okay? Let's come together here. It's getting better. It makes me kind of nauseous, like I could throw up. It's like, let's say you're on your hands and knees cleaning, and then suddenly you stand up and you're like, whoa, I got a head rush. I'm dizzy. Need to go sit down. Or maybe you've been pushing yourself so hard for like 6 hours straight and drinking way too much coffee, and then it hits you and you just feel terrible. That's what this feels like, okay? It feels like that. We got to bring this into balance. I'm going to go step into the shoes of the Olympian, the super high vibe track runner, okay? Because he's coming out, he's representing, he is paying attention, he is aware, but um, something is not shifting here that has to shift. So let me be him for a minute, see what we can learn next. Oh, he's like, he's talking so fast, almost like he's freaking possessed. He's like this. And all this golden information is just freaking out in his throat, and it's just coming out of his mouth, and his eyes are like all ablaze with all this fire. And I show this to the very tired you, that this is what's going on inside this other you. He just starts crying. Like his eyes shatter into lots of tears. And he's so freaking tired. And he's sick of this. Alright, so let me go be this very tired you. Let's see what he's really like inside. Man, he's made out of bricks. He can't hardly breathe. He can't hardly move. He's basically looking at a wall, which is himself. And he can't change his viewpoint. And it's like whenever he tries to... I mean, he is a part that I had pulled out of that super self. So I could see what was going on beneath all this theatrical energy, which has a truth. I mean, there's a divine reality to that. But as a human being, sometimes we get lost in that. I'm lost in these big ideas, but we aren't being realistic. And we aren't working towards anything. We're not really working on ourselves. We're just living in our mind in this idea for years. And then wondering why I'm still, my life isn't becoming that big fantasy. I see this a lot when it comes to like this human awakening process. Like it's like people can live in this concept. They can live in this fantasy in order to trigger it, in order to activate it, or in order for it to happen, in order to manifest it, in order to awaken all their chakras and all their psychic ability, and BAM! They're freaking crazy psychic. They're Jesus incarnate. They're saving the freaking world. Is that happening? I mean, if it is, it's not on the news. Because it's not practical. Because you have to build the skill. You have to do it the old-fashioned way. Like watching the paint peel. There has to be a development. You don't just become the Kung Fu master because you fantasized about it for 20 years of your life. You don't become the gold medal Olympian because you woke up one day and bam, you just were freaking that awesome. You practiced every single day and it was hard. And you worked your butt off to achieve that dream. Same thing goes for psychic ability, psychic development, any of that. You literally have to get real with it in our reality. Not in the fantasy, in the real, okay? Because you got to practice it. You have to put it into motion. And you will learn so much about reality along the way. And you'll understand the difference between the fantasy which is good to work with fantasy because it expands our horizons, and there's energy in that too. But you have to get down to earth again. You always do have to get back down to earth again. This is the next tough scene. This is a really sick, this is an infection. This is a you that has an infection, and he is a very sick, sickly, infected, has spots all over his body, and is coughing to the point that there's blood coming out into his hand. His face is very like stretched wide, and it hurts to be him. It hurts very bad to be him. And he's walking like almost like sluggishly, like his feet weigh 1,000 pounds, so it's like one foot is slowly being dragged to the front, and then the next foot, and there's this exasperated you who's just given up, right? The infected you is still in motion. I mean, he's the one that needs the most support here. It's almost like this tired you is just a crybaby, but this other like super gold medal you is like, I don't know, speaking in tongues with freaking light shining through the mouth and the eyes, like like Jesus incarnate, right? So you have these energies going on here that we got to bring into balance. So you feel in balance, okay? I as I watch this infection, this infected you, like this sickly you, who weighs 1,000 pounds of like the legs are so weighed down, it's almost impossible to take yet another step, but determined, extremely determined, will keep taking the next step, even if it's hard. But oh man, when I look at this you, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Not because I'm dizzy, not because I drank too much coffee, not because this is like, it's a different type of I want to puke feeling. I want to scream. I want to vomit. I feel a lot of hate and anger inside when I look at him. There's a lot of aggression vibrationally. So is it me that feels that way? It's just the way that the energy, when looking at this part of yourself, that's what comes from it, okay? And that's what we need to figure out here. We need to bring this stuff into balance. So I'm going to go and be this infected you, okay? And let's see what it's like on the inside. There's all kinds of worms inside of him. And there's a lot of people choking on worms, particularly females. Different female faces, and they have giant maggots, and they're basically gagging on them, and they're being suffocated and choked, murdered even by these worms. They're gonna die. There's a lot of that kind of rhetoric here about death, and you're gonna die, or I hope you die, or it's a lot of that kind of rhetoric in here. And it's angry, and it's like death is justified, whether it's my death or somebody else's death. And if it's a disgusting and vile death, then so be it. Death, death, death. Interesting that if this infection represents death, death is determined. And death is coming for this enlightened one. He's way off the charts of the human race, okay? And this really exhausted one that just can't keep up with this You know, death is coming, okay? I put this in a bubble because the energy is not healthy. It's very not healthy. That would explain why when I'm looking on the outside, it's like I feel a lot of. I feel like I'm gonna puke. I feel like there's screaming. There's aggression. I don't like you kind of vibe. Um, this energy is not something you want in your energy field because we got to bring balance to it internally inside of itself, and it has to want to come into balance. I'm gonna have to separate this energy. I just feel like I need to right now. I'm just gonna put it in an orb, and then I'm just gonna take it out and set it over there, and I'm gonna go talk to these other two, and I say maybe this is a wake-up call. And the one with all the light, he kind of hits himself on the head like he's got swimmer's ear, like he's trying to get the water out, and all these worms start coming out of his ear. Like these little tiny maggot worms. And he starts to become infected with worms. And he starts to vomit worms out of his system, but he still glows with light. And then the very tired one looks and sees that the super you, this elite you, is infected and can't believe it. And now everything is falling upon his shoulders, and he's the tired one. He wants the infection to come for him so he has an excuse to stop, but it never happens. Because his role is to keep going. No matter how tired, to keep going. They say this worm is a wake-up call. What you gonna do? He says, why can't I have the worms? Why? Why does it have to fall upon the shoulders of the weakest link that has to save everybody? That's what he's saying. You say, why are you defining yourself as the weakest link? What do you need to do to feel refreshed and recovered? What do you need to do to become strong again? Instead of us holding on to yourself as the weakest link, stop doing that. See yourself for the strength that you are and say, I'm tired now, but that doesn't mean I can't step into the strength again. What do I need to do to be that again? So sometimes it just takes so much energy to become that. I just don't know where to get it. Say then take a nap. And you need to take a nap. Gosh, man, every time he is a very dizzying. He's taking a nap, and I feel like I'm dizzy again, and I'm very dizzy. I'm starting to feel better though pretty quickly. Feeling a lot better. And I feel that this death, the sickly infected that I put in the orb, pushed over there, is starting to disintegrate. And this super like golden elite version of you is starting to disintegrate. Because these were the two extremes, the dark and the light, that weren't bringing you into the balance of yourself, which was actually just simply tired. The true you is this tired one. This is actually so much better to get both of those energies out so that you now are the one that stands, remains standing. We got to let go of the theatrical space, and we have to have no fear of the path, okay? Which is kind of the sickly one, right? Let's just bring you down to earth. I'm still working on bringing you down to earth. Having you literally touch the ground, touch the grass, touch the ground, the sand, the beach, the whatever. I mean, touch the ground, touch the rocks, touch the roots of the tree, touch it. touch the nature trail, touch the water, touch the earth. Feel your feet. Much better, but there you're still like leagues. You still have leagues to go, but there is a rehabilitation. We there is a rehabilitation, major rehabilitation, and a coming into balance with yourselves. Even these disintegrated selves were original parts of you. It's interesting because it's like, were you part of them or were they always just a part of you? And you projected yourself into these ideas when really you just need to bring it back to you. You maybe just didn't know which you are you. Who am I? Which me am I? You're still sleeping. All right. I'm going to stick with this for a few more minutes here, okay? I'm going to take a portion of you out of the sleeping you and just let you sleep. What do you have to say about all this? You're just kind of spliced up. And you have a cross section, and then you have selves on this side of a wall and selves on this side of a wall. And they're all like made out of splintered pieces of yourself that if they all come back together again, you'll get a whole. But they're on this side of a wall and this side of a wall. And what this represents is we don't agree with those people on that side of the wall. And, oh, we don't agree with those people on that side of the wall. And then we have the wall, which is also separating these two ideas and these two groups of people. But you are also stuck in the cross section as well. I'm going to take this part of you that's stuck in the cross section. I'm going to place you in water. Literally, I'm taking you to, I'm just going to visualize Gray's Lake because I go there a lot and it's a very healing place. So I'm just going to place you in the center of Gray's Lake. The water's cold. The fish are coming to talk to you. There's lots of animals that are attracted to you. Oh, they're not coming to talk to you. They're coming to eat. They're like bottom feeders coming to eat the like energy residue off of you. It has nothing to do with your physical body. It's eating away at the energy residue. They're like bottom feeders. They like to eat the old stuff. The residue. And you're kind of crying here and you're kind of stuck inside of a rock, a really pretty rock. Still sleeping there. We're starting to dissolve the cross section, the wall, and the two sides. Starting to dissolve that image. This you is just kind of like a buoy in the middle of a lake with big fish that are just eating like energy around you. They're gulping it down. And you're crying and you're in this like, it's a clear rock. It's got a bluish tint to it. You're stuck inside it. Looks like a piece of ice, but it's not cold. This is really helping you a lot. I'm using black tourmaline just energetically to help you again with grounding. I'm just putting black tourmaline at the bottom of your feet just to represent that we're going to get grounded here. That would also explain these dizzying moments because when you get really out of vibrationally out of this world and then you start coming back to yourself, it can be very dizzying to do that. Also, when you receive like powerful energy healing, it can be dizzying for you, so it's good to have grounding stones. You're still vibrating like a gong. I'm still slowing down the vibration, still bringing you down vibrationally, helping you to feel earth. I'm gonna have to just take just a section of this you. You got you sleeping. We don't need the wall or the other sides, right? That's all disappeared. You're in Gray's Lake here. I'm going to take another portion of you out because I'm going to try again to get you to a like closer to Earth, vibrationally closer to Earth. Because you're still kind of popped out. Okay, what do you have to say about this? You're feeling better. That's for sure. You're kind of basically you say that you're sick of everything. I'm tired of this, and you're kind of crying like a cartoon character with the tears just kind of coming out in streams like that. About the two sides, but actually you feel more realistic. You feel more natural. I just touch your heart. This you's heart. I say, don't resist. That's better. This you just turns into kind of like a piece of wood, like a wooden doll, and disappears. And again, we're focusing on the you that's in Gray's Lake. And I place my hand into your heart. Place my hand into the heart of the sleeping you. I am literally pulling out the fantasy and sending it away because it's still like a hot air balloon. All right, sending away the sleeping you, that doesn't exist anymore. Because now the most true to yourself is this you here in Gray's Lake. The most down to earth you is this you here in Gray's Lake. This is better. This will give you clarity. This will give you practical clarity. A practical, humble, earthy awareness of you, the human, and you, the enlightened one, okay? Boy, did you need this. I mean, you were popped way out vibrationally. And we had to go through all that stuff to get you true to yourself, but to heal the true self who was pretty worn out, okay? And then get you down to earth. And allowing yourself to be down to earth. Because you need to be down to earth. That was really hard on you. Your body is really hard on you. To maintain that is really hard. It's not good. Okay, I'm going to just, one more time, okay, just touching your heart here. Removing the black tourmalines from your feet. I'm removing this, apparently it was placed here, this cube to hold you there. And that's disappearing. And now you're just a human being in a lake. You're cold. And you're just emotional for really unexplainable reasons. It's really like you're going through a major spiritual transformation. You really are. Why am I crying for no explainable reason? Because you're changing. Just cry. Yeah. Feel the water. Feel the water. Feel your body. Feel the earth. Yeah, you feel, okay. We reached it. We finally reached it. You feel like extraordinary, okay? Because you are now earthbound, but you are way vibrationally high and earthbound and vibrationally high. Like you're vibrationally high in every direction, but you're also earthy and grounded and tuned into earth energies and this incarnation and this present time. You are really a lot more put together energetically. You're going to start to feel a new sense of self empowerment, wisdom. You're going to feel a new sense of awareness and understanding about how this works. To be human and then to be enlightened. And to carry that as your identity in everyday life. Okay? This is a really good balance for you. Wow, this is a really good balance. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I have a feeling that this session is not only going to be awesome for you, but it's going to help a lot of other people. Because anybody that needs just some grounding support, experiencing the grounding that you're going through in this session, we can all receive that same gift of helping us to get grounded in our own experiences because we're all connected, you know? That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. All right, and those watching, thank you for taking the time to watch this video from beginning to end, for supporting my YouTube channel, for all your likes and comments. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, don't be shy to subscribe. All right, I hope you all have a super wonderful day.